You're listening to the Full Send Rejects, where you never know what's going to happen next because honestly, neither do we. We're your host, Kodak.
The other Kodak.
And I'm Billy, not Kodak.
We are swinging for the fences in today's episode as Billy coaches us through the life and career of the late great Willie Mays. We also talk a shakeup in the cartel arena, Jaguars being a whole new level kind of threat, kind of scary. Some adventures that we took, and some small people baseball. So grab your popcorn, your Cracker Jacks, and swing for the fences with us on today's Full Send Rejects. And the first pre-topic today is founder of Sonora cartel El Mayo was arrested by American people.
But not
I,
El Mustard.
No, not El Mustard or El
Okay.
Ketchup.
Okay.
Yeah.
El Barbecue?
Well, I'm sure he went to some El barbecues, but yeah, he was the leader of the Sonora cartel along with El Chapo. Here's the thing. Apparently El Chapo sold him out, or the son of El Chapo sold him out.
Sounds right for the cartel.
Well, apparently there's some conspiracies going on here because El Mayo's apparently getting really old and cancerous and near death, basically, and he just wants to see his kids for the last time, who are all in America. Some who were arrested, some who are just kind of just vibing here. But it's hard to see because after his arrest, there seems to be a lot of killing in Mexico now, more than usual.
Hmm.
Tying up loose ends, maybe?
What's that?
Are they tying up loose ends?
So apparently, what happened after El Chapo got arrested was the Sonora cartel split into different factions. And one faction is like for his sons, the other one's for El Mayo barbecue. And, they feel like they got sold out. So now they're gunning for a lot of people. Sort of a revenge killing thing.
As one
So
does.
Colonel Mustard dies and the whole fucking thing goes nuts?
He didn't die. He was just arrested by
Oh, yeah.
Department of Homeland Security. And what's interesting about it is no one in Mexico had any idea.
He was pulled from the shelf.
His expiration date's there. It's pulled from the shelf. And the thing is, everyone in Mexico is kind of scared shitless because if there's somebody who knows who's connected to the drug game, it's this guy. He's responsible for fentanyl flowing through the border. He's the who's who of cartel bosses. He knows all the politicians, been paying them for decades. So it's going to be interesting.
So he's like the Chick-fil-A of
He's Gus.
bosses.
He's Gus from Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Well, the higher up Gus. There's that one scene where like all the people who are like paying Gus to ship the meth.
Yeah.
He's kind of like one of those people. Like he's ahead of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could actually probably do we watched him on Narcos.
That's what I'm saying, but condiment wise, he's like the Chick-fil-A of
Well, I wouldn't say he's Chick-fil-A sauce. I mean, he is El Mayo after all.
I mean, if I have to pick something, I'd pick Chick-fil-A sauce over mayo. Huh? No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he was this guy in Narcos.
Colonel Mustard.
That guy.
Oh, a cowboy.
Yeah, the guy with the cowboy hat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Put a picture on there for you.
Oh, we binge watched that while I was pregnant. There was a lot of morning sickness breaks during that.
Yeah, well, I paused. I'm a gentleman.
I know. Just is very spotty.
However, that's not the biggest border relevant public service announcement I have. Jaguars are making a comeback in America, apparently, and they found evidence that they eat bears.
Oh.
Cool, but I mean, I feel bad for the bears.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think a cat would eat a bear.
But it's a big cat.
I mean, I don't see that doing either one of the football teams any good this year.
No, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to eat Caleb Williams. If he did, I'd be impressed.
Very
That's
impressed.
MVP frontrunner candidate right there.
Have you seen that, Joe?
That's true. I'm just in the reading article. All I see is Jaguar eats bear. And I'm like, this has to be fake. Nope, it's true. It's fucking terrifying.
That's insane.
But we had a trip of our own, Shady Maple. Yeah, there's no way to feel sound positive about the experience.
I mean, fantastic food.
The smorgasbord.
The smorgasbord. It definitely was. It was quite the experience. Anxiety, to say the least. There's a lot of people, and it was a madhouse. It was like the best way to describe it is, on Home Alone when they're dashing in the airport and they're trying to go through the checkout. That's what it's like going and trying to get the food. There's no rhyme or reason. People are going every which direction. And I mean, you get to your food. It's very quick. It's just there's just people are just acting like they've never eaten before. And it was just the food was delicious, hands down, amazing. The salad bar was huge. They had carving sections, like, you could have ham, brisket, steak, potatoes, uh, fish, burgers, and it was just anything you could think of they had, and it was amazing.
We ate a lot.
We ate a lot. It was the downfall to what happened on our way there was just devastating.
I mean, we both had about 3 plates of food plus dessert. It was incredible.
That storm just that storm killed my spirit.
Yeah, well, we took a branch to the windshield. Somehow we got lucky, it didn't come through the windshield.
Yes. Winds picked up out of nowhere, torrential downpour, and then all of a sudden you saw a tree and branches start flying and just out of nowhere. And it just you heard the first thud on the top of the car, and then you just saw a huge chunk just fly in, like, on top of the windshield, and just I had my wits like thing, but it was scary.
Well, we got lucky, so it came through the windshield, but instead it just hit the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Granted, it's all not connected to the car right now, but
Yeah. Yeah. My car is in timeout right now.
the Kia sacrificed itself so we could eat.
Yeah.
That's all it
Long
was.
live Kia.
Still don't like Kia.
No.
Do not like Kia whatsoever.
I mean, it did its job.
A Chevy would have just kept going. A Chevy wouldn't have cracked.
Or it would have cracked too much. You don't know.
Listen, my Chevy took on a tractor trailer and it just needed some glue afterwards, okay?
Well, we need a baseline. We need to scientifically test this. Let me just like huck a tree branch at your windshield and see what happens.
Okay, we'll just delete that part for insurance purposes. So they can't trace that back here. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking I came outside, there's a tree log like in my car. Yeah,
It hasn't stormed in like 3 weeks.
we're in a drought. This is Arizona. What are you talking about?
The crazy part is on our way back, we saw a tree down, and it was clear as day on the way. It's just there was no rain on the way back, and you just saw a whole ass tree just fall over. Like, that tree was on its last leg, and it
Yeah, in a minute or two, that tree could have been on top of the car,
yeah.
which I was just established as a Kia, so it's not gonna hold it as well as a Chevy.
We're lucky that we just got a branch and not that whole tree.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
those storms are fucking wild.
it was crazy because we left the house, it started raining bad, and then it cleared up, and I got to this area, and it just out of nowhere just poured.
Like, you couldn't even see anything, the winds picked up, and it was you you thought you were in a freaking tornado.
I mean, I didn't think we were a tornado. That was your Florida kicking in
Yeah, if my Florida did and
because you mistook smoke clouds for,
yeah, and then right after, I saw, like it was like smokestacks, and I'm like, "Oh, no," and the way the wind was picking up, the smokestacks looked like funnel clouds forming. How bad the, wind was blowing.
well, in the South, that's a tornado. Up here, that's just industry.
Well, when Florida calls, and you know what? My Florida senses are right because something bad happened.
Yeah, but it wasn't a tornado.
No, but I knew something bad was gonna happen because I seatbelt my went chicka chick chicka chick,
I mean, to be fair, every time it gets stormy like that, you're always afraid something's gonna happen.
and something did happen.
So if you're hitting like 1 out of 20, I mean,
Hey, it's still a win.
I'll allow it.
A
See?
win's a win.
A win's a win, even for your Chicago White Sox, because they are terrible this year.
I want to add
Yeah.
something. I want to just I want to throw something in there. Nothing to do with Shady Maple, but just something from today. Billy, do you
Hmm.
do you remember sliding on your first pair of skinny jeans?
Yeah.
Do you remember that feeling?
Yeah, 'cause I always thought they'd be tight in the crotch area, but they were perfect.
Do you remember the 20 minutes it took for you to put them on over your ankles?
No.
Took I took Cole the hot we took Cole the hot topic today.
He was so excited.
Wait, to get them off, 'cause that takes me a minute.
Okay, well, it took him 20 minutes to put them on because Cole has a big foot. And these were like the super skinnies, like they had the chain and they were very Edward Scissorhand looking, like they had like all the extra things on them, so they were heavy.
Oh, yeah, like my favorite pair. Yeah, yeah, yep.
And they were heavy and they were like super, super skinny. And the lady's like, they might be a little big on him, but they were actually like really small on him. And he had to like literally crawl into them.
Did you buy them? 'Cause that
No.
seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work to get them on, and then he struggled to take them off. Um,
Yeah, that's my downfall.
but he was so in love with them. We didn't buy them. They were $50, and the way he's growing, I told him that if he can we made an arrangement with him, but we told him we can go back and get them, but they have to be bigger. But I just wanted to know if you remembered that nostalgic feeling of your first pair of skinny jeans.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't wear them when I was young. My first pair of skinny jeans was like when I was 29. I was like, oh, this isn't what everyone was going crazy about. I get it.
He's like, "Man, it fits like a glove."
I was one of the trip pants, UFO pants kids.
I just had pants. Whatever pants I got, that was it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we spent lots of money today doing school shopping, and Cole had the time of his life.
It's a good time.
He yeah,
Oh, I love it. It's
but
great.
yeah, we're not looking at our bank statements.
No, for the kids, it's a good time.
Oh, yeah, for that one, he had a blast.
No, I used to
Everywhere he went. I did get Hey Dudes. Finally got Hey Dudes.
yeah, Anthony, I hate dudes. And Alina got a
Compared
go ahead.
compared to your Crocs, how comfortable are they?
It's two different kind of comforts. That's it. I mean, they're pretty comfortable. So are Crocs. Crocs are good for like the underneath of your feet. Hey Dudes are good for like everything around your feet.
It's like instead of walking on pillows, it's just, walking in pillows.
Kind of like that, yeah.
See, Crocs are a relaxed comfort. Hey dudes are more like a dress comfort.
You can relax in those. I would relax in those 100% of the time.
Yeah, but like say Kiara's wedding, you can wear the Hey Dudes with a pair of dress pants.
Oh, watch me wear Crocs. I already asked her.
You thought he wasn't gonna wear Crocs?
Probably not. I'm not that kind of person.
I could see them throwing it in the back of the car,
For afterwards, maybe, but like,
but where to the wedding, I could see him wearing Hey Dudes. Yes.
I'm
well,
still shocked you didn't wear Crocs to your own wedding.
hey, we had an established thing going on, okay?
We
Well,
had the match, I get it.
that's why no one wore dress shoes.
In the event of Anthony wearing Crocs?
I almost had it to where everybody wore Crocs,
Nah, I couldn't do Crocs for a wedding.
but Crocs were more expensive than Vans.
And the Vans were nicer and more useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Vans was a good choice.
Plus, everybody wore them, and they were just everybody an everyday shoe.
Yo, Liz stole my pair.
Steal them back. Steal one, and then she'll like no longer want to wear them because she can't like who only wears one Croc, and then eventually get that Croc and start wearing them.
All right, deal.
It's a perfect crime.
Never suspect it.
No, she'll never suspect it.
The shopping underneath Shady Maple was fun too.
The shop down there is fucking awesome.
It was huge. A bit overwhelming, but it's huge.
She wasn't ready.
No.
When they say it's a smorgasbord, they mean everything.
Well, she didn't understand what smorgasbord was. I'm like, it's just a big all you can eat, except it's not Asian, it's Amish. And Amish have a thing for making a lot of food. So
I I think the storm in the windshield just completely just messed up my brain. So I was already on edge, and then that just walking into that place with all these people just sent me into like complete social anxiety, and I wasn't sure what to expect, and there were so many people there, and then I just didn't know what to expect. And then just going downstairs, there was so much. I didn't know where to start. It it was so much. I couldn't.
I
I
only
was like,
went for breakfast.
I never have breakfast there, always dinner.
I only ever went for breakfast.
yeah. I pretty much told Anthony just to lead the way or just to be our
Guide.
humble guide.
Hey, I'm a good guide. It's been working out so far. Every time I had to guide something.
Yeah, he's good when he needs to be.
Yeah, I can step up. Thank you. So, in other news, listen to a recent episode of the Well House Exorcism, and they've been doing a Penhurst investigation. And on it, you can hear a voice say something about bacon. And for any of our longtime listeners, back to the Velisca episode, which episode is it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Do you think I just have it in my
We need a
Maybe.
goddamn producer.
Yeah, this is why we need a producer.
well, if you would have told me this beforehand, I would have had it ready.
But where's the fuck? Babe, it's in the intro. If we don't know what's happening next, neither do they, okay? That's what
What do
makes
you
it.
think? I just have a freaking like a little thing in my head that just like.
Maybe. I don't know what you do.
You think I just
This
have all
is
the
where I get my national news every fucking time.
well
It's
because
not a good. We're not
when
gonna
I do
search
my
for that.
write-ups, I do the research and I go back and I look at it. You think I have a Rolodex of every episode in my brain?
Maybe.
I am woman, hear me roar, but I'm not freaking just on top of it like that. Just look up Velisca.
I tried, but oh, we have episodes missing. Huh.
Why do we have
I
episodes
don't know.
missing?
See, look, it goes from like episode 5, Drunkopoly, episode 17.
Did someone remove our episodes?
I don't know. I'll have to find out.
Huh.
Because there's Robert Pickton, the pig farmer.
Uh-huh.
Let's see here. Nope, not there.
Huh,
Gemma.
holy shit.
Yeah, this is weird. I'll have to look into that. See what happened.
Huh. Huh. Shame on you, Spotify.
The fuck did they do? There's a pirate episode. I don't know. That's interesting though. Well,
Coward.
figure it out and put it up. But yeah, we're very pro bacon here, and apparently there's a ghost that enjoys bacon. So if we were to Penhurst, we're gonna get other ghosts quite fine.
Yeah, that was removed.
Well, yeah, looking at the same thing I was looking at. Were you?
All right.
Because
Can I
yeah,
tell the ghost the story of Velisca if we go?
We
So you turn him off of bacon.
we should definitely tell the story of Velisca if we go to Penhurst. How far away is Penhurst?
Down by Philly.
Oh, okay. Didn't you do an episode on Penhurst already?
No, it's too big of a place for me to even attempt to cover.
All right, looks like we'll just have to go. But
Prop to Shanna for doing that, because holy fuck.
well, they're doing a multiple part episode because they went down to do an investigation. And I know the first episode they came out with of it, I think this past week before this episode, they played some pieces of it and just discussed it. But they even said, we have a lot more to go through, a lot more audio and recordings. Plus, they're dead exhausted because they did the overnight things and they came back and were just dead tired. So they have a lot to go through. But definitely check them out if you're into this, especially Panhurst, if you're curious about what happened there. And they have some good, it's unedited what they put on from what they recorded. They actually took some equipment down there, and I found it interesting. But as Panhurst is ending, the Little League World Series is starting. Billy, Newtown?
Yeah, the team representing Pennsylvania is also from down by Philly, Newtown, Pennsylvania. A regional started today.
So the regionals of the Little League World Series?
Yep,
I live in this Newton, Pennsylvania. Let's see, what do they got going on down there?
Newtown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Newtown. Oh my God, I'm terrible at this. Newtown, Pennsylvania. Okay, I still don't get them. Oh, Newtown, Pennsylvania. Okay, let's see here. Oh, there's 4 Newtowns in Pennsylvania. Newtown, Bucks County, Newtown, Schuylkill County, Newtown, Bucks
Oh.
County, Newtown, Delaware County.
Oh, no, now I don't know where they're from. I remember a new town from Harrisburg a couple years ago.
Well, there's Delaware County is down by Philly, so I'm assuming it's them.
Yeah, I would think that one. The biggest one is my guess.
Let's see here. Oh, they're older than the goddamn country. Sure, nothing bad happened here.
It's not new at all. I feel lied to.
It's extremely old. Should be Old Town. Ugh, can't stand people and they're or naming things incorrectly.
Can't name it something normal like Bluebell.
You know, I was so mad. I thought the entire time we were going on Shady Maple, we were gonna go through Blue Ball, but apparently not. We went a different way. Ooh, Champagne's from here.
Oh,
From
get the
dudes.
fuck out.
Yeah, so is convicted murderer and philanthropist John DuPont. Why does that sound familiar? I don't
Jeff
know.
Gordon, brother.
Jeff Gordon. Third degree murder, 13 to 30 years in prison. Well, shit happens. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a few good amount of people from here. Anyway, well, you know what? Go Pennsylvania. If not, go Virginia or some other state that we enjoy here.
We'll find an eastern state. It'll be fine.
What's that?
We'll find an eastern state. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Eastern state, Mid Atlantic state, somewhere like that.
Yeah, it's for the Mid-Atlantic Division, so go them.
Go Newtown. Oh, speaking of sports, before we let you brag, Billy, guess what's
Okay.
back?
Football.
Yeah, that's right. NFL is back. First game was played. There is now continuous football games until Valentine's Day weekend.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame game?
No, we were going to Shady Maple.
It was on Thursday.
Thursday? What were we doing Thursday? What happened Thursday? Why didn't you watch football?
It was the Bears and Texans with like their third string, so like no one cared.
That's fair.
You had a bad day.
Oh, I was intoxicated. Yeah, I came home that day and I had 6 shots of vodka in an
As one
hour.
does.
In an hour. So, yeah, it was a good time.
And then you went to bed.
Yeah, that's true. It was a bad day. But, Billy, let's end it with let's get out of the bag with a good you have some, humbling or not humbling, some bragging to do.
Some humble bragging. There you go. I done quit smoking. It only took 20 fucking years, but I did it.
Better late than never. Your lungs will thank you. And, you know, you might get another 2 years on this earth, so joke's on you.
Oh God. See, this is why I kept smoking.
I mean, if you quit smoking, you'll send your lungs into shock and you might pass away yesterday.
It's like the cumulative hangover might kill me.
Oh, I'm afraid of that day. I am extremely afraid of what will happen that day. But no, good on you for quitting smoking. Smoking is bad. I don't know. I never
Okay.
it is just gross. I never, I smoked before, but, I was never like, "Ooh, I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette. I'm gonna kick a cat." Arr.
Smoking is
I never kicked a cat
But you thought about it.
every day of my life, quitting
Eh,
smoking or not. You know how
Rachel!
annoying these assholes are?
Rachel!
Yeah, I named her that so I could just scream all the time.
Is Christian Bale the only Batman to not go kill somebody?
Maybe.
Like, Michael Keaton blew up a building. Batfleck was fucking shot through a wall,
Mm-hmm.
was taking people out. I
Oh
think
no, Christian Bale definitely killed people.
who did he kill?
Well, if you think about the chase scene in Dark Knight, like with all the cars exploding and shit, people had to have died.
Nah, they were just tuckered out.
I just got blown 40 feet in the air. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. Good night. You can't spell SWAT without laughter.
That was the nicest little touch they could have done.
I did enjoy that. So, I believe that wraps it for pre-topic. We can move forward to Willie, whose apparent middle name is Howard Mays.
A very, very long one.
Ooh, yeah, it's a 10-page episode here.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough one. I don't know if I can read that long.
Well, you're about to.
Yeah, well. Alright, I began writing this one way back at the beginning of July, I think, but me and depression decided to get real cuddly, so I've been slacking. Sorry guys, that's on me. We all know how much I love baseball, and Willie Mays was one of the greatest to ever do it. Making his way from the Negro Leagues, which is PT, it's just what they're called, to the big time where he made his name synonymous with New York baseball. Granted, it wasn't the right New York team for me, the Say Hey Kid earned all sorts of accolades and awards, including a World Series Most Valuable Player nod in 1954. Today we're going to take a look at where Willie Mays came from, and maybe we can determine just what made him so damn good. Let's go.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from, William Mays? Oh, that kind of flows.
A little bit. Is Cotton Eye Joe? No, Cotton Eye Joe is definitely not about Willie Mays,
No, it is not. Cotton Eye Joe is about STDs.
and that was not Willie's game.
No, no, no. I mean, his name is Willie, though.
True, true, true. Willie Howard Mays Jr. was born on May 6, 1931, in Westfield, Alabama. It was a working town made up of primarily black residents, but again, it's Alabama. Between factory work, Willie's father, although he shared the name with his son, was nicknamed Cat. He was a great baseball player for the local company team. His mother, Annie Slatterwhite, was also an athlete, being a track star in high school. The couple never married and eventually separated when Willie was but a young warthog at 3 years old.
When he was a young warthog.
Very nice.
You're welcome. After the separation, Willie would stay primarily with his father, although his aunts Sarah and Ernestine would do a lot of the heavy lifting. His dad introduced Willie to baseball at a very young age, playing catch at only 5 and riding the pine with the company ball players in the dugout. By high school, Willie was a two-sport athlete, leading the all-black schools in Jefferson County in scoring and basketball. He was also the school QB, but played a myriad of different positions for the team. His school did not have a baseball team, but that didn't really seem to slow young Willie Mays down. Although Jefferson County didn't have a baseball team, Willie still found a way to play, as he found himself next to his father on the company team. In 1948, Willie would hit the big time and began his pro career with the minor league team, the Chattanooga Choo Choos, which is just an outstanding name.
I fucking love that. Oh my god, Sub's doing the wave. Choo choo.
Obviously, for the time, this was the Negro Leagues. Willie would quickly get noticed after great play in Chattanooga and would be signed to the Birmingham Black Barons, which, if you think it sounds racist, so do I. Willie was still in high school at this time, but he managed to work out a deal with the team and his school. The principal threatened suspension for Willie, but his father talked him into allowing Willie to play for the Barons on the weekends and only for home games, as it did not interfere with his schooling. That year, Willie helped the Barons to the Negro League World Series, where they ultimately fell to the Homestead Grays 4-1 in the series. Willie did begin to garner attention from some of the big major league teams following the season, and after the historic signing of Jackie Robinson by the Dodgers. A couple teams actually scouted Willie when he was still with the Black Barons, but couldn't sign him until he graduated from high school. The Boston Braves, which explains why I hate the Braves so damn much, scouted him along with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Him going to the Dodgers would have probably been one of the most historic signings in baseball, having two phenomenal African American players. Ultimately, it was a good thing he didn't end up with Brooklyn, because Jackie Robinson was not a huge fan of Willie because of his refusal to bring attention to the treatment of black ball players. Even though these teams had both intended to sign Willie, he would ultimately sign with the New York Giants after meeting with their scout, Eddie Montague, and signing a big-time $4,000 contract. Willie would spend his first year in the minor leagues, starting with Trenton for the Class B Trenton Giants. He would go to bat a .353 average, which is pretty fucking good. The following year, Willie was quickly called up to the Triple-A team in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Millers, which is a real shit name if you ask me. There, he batted an astounding .477 through 35 games.
See, I think Minneapolis Millers is a good, decent name because Minneapolis has some mills going on up there.
I mean, fine.
Isn't like the Yankees AAA team called the Rail Riders because there was just railroads?
All right, fine.
Just throwing that out there.
The insane batting averages aside, Mays was a great defenseman in center field. The Giants looked to promote him to the show, but Mays told the manager, Leo DeRocher, that he wasn't ready to face major league pitchers, but Leo would eventually talk him into agreeing to it, if only to save the money on long distance calls, which had to be bonkers to make at the time.
What a time to be alive.
When Willie finally arrived to his new clubhouse, he was quickly given a nickname that would stick with him the rest of his life. Although he was a genius on the baseball field, Willie had a hard time remembering names. This led to several occasions where Willie would just yell, "Hey!" to get a teammate's attention. Because of this, the name Say Hey Kid began and stuck around all the way up until the day he died. His first major league game would be against the Phillies, where he did not do great at the plate. He would go 0 for 12 in his first 12 at bats, but launched one over the wall in his 13th plate appearance. Warren Spahn, who I believe was pitching for the Boston Braves at the time.
I heard Willie Mays hit a lot of homers over the span of his career.
He sure did. The Say Hey Kid would enter another slump following the Spahn homer, going another 0 for 12. This caused DeRocher to drop Willie from third to eighth in the batting order on June 2nd, pleading with him to stop trying to pull the ball. The new position and mindset worked, and by the end of June, Willie had inflated his average to 300. I don't know why I said June twice there. He would finish the year with a 274 batting average, 68 ribbies, and 20 home runs. These are some of the lowest he has ever produced in his entire career. However, he still won the NL Rookie of the Year.
Go figure, first year, worst stats of the career. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, right. After being down 13.5 games to the Dodgers in the 1951 season, the Giants would rally, ending the season going 40-18 in their last 58 games, leaving them tied with the Dodgers at the top of the division. Because this was the 50s, we had a series tiebreaker games. Mays would play exceptional defense, leading to the NL pennant belonging to the New York Giants. Should have finished proofreading. Following the win, the Giants would go on to meet my New York Yankees in the World Series. Mays didn't produce much offensively for the series, but he did help make up the first all African American outfield in baseball history. The Giants would go on to lose in 6 games, however. The Giants would go on to lose in 6 games, always changing base. What the fuck did I do here?
You can do it.
Willie did something worth noting in his piss poor performance. After he had hit a fly ball towards the left field wall, Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio, who Willie actually looked up to as a kid, both pursued the ball. After DiMaggio called off Mantle, Mantle would get his cleat stuck in the drain pipe and blow his knee out. This injury would spell the end for Mickey Mantle, as he would never play like his old self again.
Goddamn drain pipe.
Goddamn Willie Mays taking out one of the greats. Following the devastating loss of the greatest team on earth, the hits just kept coming for Willie. He would be informed that he would be drafted to fight in the Korean War. This didn't put a huge damper on Willie, as he did get to play some games with the Giants before shipping out. In 34 games, he hit .236 with 4 dingers, along with his usual outstanding defensive play. The day finally came for Willie to enlist, and on May 29th, he would report to Fort Eustis in Virginia. The Army wasn't all bad, as May spent most of his time playing baseball for the fort's team, the Fort Eustis Wheels. This is where Mays claims to have learned his famous basket catch from another outfielder. During his military time, he would play 180 games for the Wheels, but his military baseball career would end on July 28, 1953, after he chipped a bone in his foot sliding into third. The following March, Willie was finally discharged and able to return to the Giants' spring training.
Back when bone spurs were cool. People got bone spurs after they joined the military back then.
Yeah, playing baseball.
Or American sport.
Goddamn American sport. Willie opened the new season with a homer against the Dodgers' Carl Erskine, but for the following 20 games he was only batting .250. This would be a decently average number for anyone not named Willie Mays. Again, it was time for a move in the lineup when DeRocher moved him from third to fifth and again questioned Willie's batting stance. Once he was moved in the lineup and tightened up his swing, Willie hit .450 over his next 20 games, including 25 RBIs. Yeah, Aaron Judge who?
So
Mays would end Mays would end the season with a .345 average and earned the NL MVP award for 1954. Following his historic season, the Giants won the pennant and would play the Cleveland Indians for the 1954 World Series. Again, it's what they were called, it's just PC. The series would be pretty underwhelming as the Giants swept Cleveland in just 4 games. There's one notable thing to come out of the series, and it was simply known as the catch. The infamous Willie Mays basket catch, robbing Vic Wertz of an extra base hit after a long drive to center. One of the most beautiful plays to this day in professional baseball. The game would go to extra innings, with Willie being the winning run on a home run by Dusty Rhodes. The ending isn't relevant, but the American dream, baby.
Goddamn right. With a phone
Someone,
start.
if someone's named Dusty Rhodes, I'm bringing it up.
Dusty roads take me home.
The
It's a,
following season, did you say it? What?
it's a baseball joke. Dusty roads take me home.
The real Dusty Rhodes is the son of a plumber, former champion.
That's a wrestling joke.
That is a wrestling joke.
Wrestle.
You don't know, baby.
Yeah, I got that one.
Points to Rose. The following year for the Giants wasn't anywhere near what they had accomplished the year prior. There were some high spots, however, mostly just out of Willie. He had found a way to up his base stealing prowess, ending the season with 51. He also ended the season batting .319. Unfortunately for the Giants, they would finish in 3rd place in their division. At the end of the lackluster season, Leo DeRocher informed his team that he would not be returning the next year. Willie was heartbroken as DeRocher had been by his side since he arrived in the big leagues.
Sucks losing a side piece.
Right? Willie got off to a rough start with new manager Bill Rigney. Rigney would publicly criticize Mays and even fined him $100 for not running the first on a pop fly to the catcher. Willie was still playing almost like Willie that year, hitting 36 homers and recording his career-high stolen bases with 40. Although these numbers are great for then, Mays was still struggling in other areas. He only accounted for 84 RBIs and a .296 batting average. Remember that 36 of the RBIs were home runs, too, so not doing great.
But that means more of the RBIs came from not home runs.
Alright, fair. At least 36, because there could have been runners on. We don't know. I didn't do that in-depth research.
That's true. Fair point.
Following the 1956 season, Willie would legally find love when he married Marguerite Wendell. If the name doesn't sound familiar, there's a reason. She worked behind the scenes for some of the most famous jazz artists of the time, even instructing Gladys Knight and the Pips how to conduct themselves during interviews. Marguerite was also a cougar with a 6-year age difference between her and Mays.
I believe it's called a puma, if I'm correct here. 6 years, that's a puma. Unless she's in her 40s.
No, I believe she was in her 30s and he was in his 20s.
Ooh, puma.
It's a puma.
Yeah, he was like 23.
Yeah, that's puma territory.
That's-
Cougars are the girls in their 40s. Yeah, Empire talks.
Back on the field, Willie was beginning to click with new manager Bill at the beginning of the 1957 season. It was believed that Bill backed off of trying to coach Willie with his ways and just let Mays be Mays. This season would be one of the best in his career, winning the first of his 12 straight Gold Gloves for his play in center field. He scored 112 runs, hit 35 home runs, all while boasting an average of .333. He also became the second player to ever join the 20-20-20 club with over 20 doubles, triples, and homers throughout the season. Unfortunately, his stats didn't help with attendance at the ballpark, which would make 1957 the last season the Giants would represent New York and would defect to the West Coast to San Francisco.
Quitters.
Goddamn quitters. Before I go any further into the baseball, I'll get slightly into Willie and Marguerite's personal lives here. When the couple were searching for a house in his new city, the couple would find a lovely home that was just built for $37,000. Obviously, Willie had the money. In 2024, money that would be around, $400K, which is still a steal in this economy.
True.
However, after they had made an offer on the home and everything looked good on paper, the builder pulled it from the market, refusing to allow a black family to live in the same neighborhood as his children. Eventually, the builder backed down, but Willie and Marguerite turned the house down when it was offered to them.
Love that for them. Not the whole, first part, but that second part, just sticking to their guns.
Yeah, I respect it.
Me too. Good for them.
At the beginning of the '58 season, Bill Rigney wanted to push Willie to challenge for Babe Ruth's home run record. Didn't work, he would only hit 29 home runs in the season, but he did challenge for the batting title up until the last day, batting a .347. Ultimately, he would not win the title as Richie Ashburn of the Phillies ended the season at .350. We all know one of these names, and there's probably a good reason for it, and it's definitely not Richie Ashburn.
I'm sure he did some stuff.
Yeah, he had a batting record in 1958.
How many
Things
bat
also, huh?
how many batting records do you have?
Zero. Which,
Um,
yeah, I mean, he's doing great.
Fun fact, Billy, Richie Ashburn was a 1995 inductee into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Wow, Willie Mays got inducted in '79.
Well, tomato, tomato.
Things also weren't going great for Willie's marriage, as he was now renting a home in San Francisco during the season, while Marguerite would stay in New York.
Wah, wah.
While his personal life wasn't doing great, his baseball career was going terrific. Before the start of the 1959 season, then owner Horace Stoneham, great name again, made Willie the highest paid player in baseball with a whopping $75,000. Of course, as soon as a great player gets paid, they end up injured. Looking at you again, Aaron Judge.
Skeens didn't get hurt when he got paid.
Did he get paid yet?
Weekly?
So he's not making big bucks yet, or what Pirates call big bucks.
No, we usually don't. Brian Reynolds didn't get hurt after he got paid. Take that.
All right, that's fair. Luckily for the Giants, the injury only lasted through the preseason after he collided with a Red Sox player in a spring training game. Willie received 35 stitches to his leg. I guess he caught a cleat.
Sounds
Uh,
about
he
right.
was able he was able to start the regular season, but in an early game against the Reds, Willie broke his finger. He wouldn't tell anyone about this injury until years later, fearing that pitchers would target him. Remember, this is still the '50s. A lot of people still didn't like Mays for playing a white man sport.
To be fair, in the 50s, they will try and take you out either way.
True, but the white pitcher with a already injured Willie Mays, I'm throwing at Willie Mays. I mean, I'm not, but in the '50s, I totally, see why they would do it. Through the broken finger, Willie would lead the Giants into a pennant race against the goddamn Dodgers again. The Dodgers sealed off their win with a sweep of the Giants. Giants fan actually began booing Willie during this series, even though he did pretty decent, hitting 3 out of 10. The fans would begin to blame his troubles with Marguerite on Willie's poor performance. Despite all the marital trouble and fans beginning to turn on him, Willie ended the '59 season with a .313 average, with 34 home runs and 113 RBIs. He also led the league in stolen bases for the fourth year in a row.
Hmm, good on him.
Way to be speed.
Before the 1960 season, the Giants would move to a new stadium, the famous Candlestick Park. Although the park was practically made for home runs, the wind wouldn't constantly overpower hitters, and Willie would only hit 12 this season. Even though he wasn't hitting for power as much, Willie was still making history. On September 15th of 1960, he tied a record, hitting 3 triples in a single game. It went to 11, but that's neither here nor there. The Giants were dog shit most of this year, ending 5th out of the 8 NL teams. I don't know how they did this, as Willie was still Willie, hitting .319, 103 RBIs, and 25 stolen bases, but the Giants' woes were once again blamed on Willie's tumultuous marriage. He was pretty hush-hush about the whole thing, but Marguerite was kind of a big deal now, and everyone was privy to her business.
To be a famous person.
He didn't even like the spotlight, though. It was all her.
Sounds like your typical baseball player. They're just there to play.
Following the deplorable season in 1960, the Giants would can Rigney as their manager and hire Alvin Dark. The Giants did moderately better this year, finishing 3rd out of 8 teams. Even though the season didn't turn out as well for San Francisco would have liked, Willie managed to have his best game in the 1961 season against the Milwaukee Brewers on April 30th, where he hit 4 homers with 8 RBIs. That's kind of impressive. Mays would spend most of 1961 battling another great, Orlando Cepeda, for the NL home run record. Ultimately, Orlando would win 46-40, which is still a pretty impressive number. Mays would finish with another record season: 40 homers, 308 average, 123 RBIs, and 129 runs scored himself. It was also around this time that things came to a head with Marguerite, and the two would officially separate sometime before the 1962 season.
So this is where his career takes off.
Or not before I wrote this had it happened, but Orlando Cepeda he just died not too long ago.
Ooh, R.I.P.
Although his play was still outstanding, the San Francisco fans continued to boo Mays the first couple of years after the team's move, partly due to racism, partly due to being compared to Yankees legend Joe DiMaggio. Which, I mean, that's hard company to be compared to.
Yeah, that's true.
During the '62 season, fans started to stop being assholes and realize how great of an athlete Willie was, and he reciprocated by leading the Giants in runs, doubles, homers, RBIs, stolen bases, walks, on-base percentage, and slugging. He had 18 stolen bases, and that was a league-leading record. Goes to show how insane our athletes are, because 18, yeah, I wrote that. But Ellie Dele Cruz had 45 stolen bases when I wrote that. I mean, he's up to like 50 something now.
Jesus Christ. Athletes!
Yeah, they have become genetic freaks. Anyway, huh?
I said, is that nature or is that nurture?
That's a that's, I don't know, a little bit column A, a little bit column B.
Anyway, there it is. During the final game of the season, Willie hit a game-running home run to ultimately tie the Giants and the Dodgers for the pennant. Again, the fucking Dodgers. The team would play a 3-game series to determine who the winner of the West would be. After splitting the first 2 games, Willie would hit an RBI single in Game 3 where he would score a few more batters in. He would catch the final out of the game, propelling the Giants to a 6-4 win over the Dodgers. The stage was set for the Giants to play the Yankees in the World Series. Again. That series would go the full 7 games, but really wasn't much of a contribution, hitting only .250 throughout the series. The Yankees won Game 7 1-0, and it would be their last World Series until 1977, the longest drought in Yankees history until now.
Damn. They suck.
You're telling me.
Yeah, that is. Yankees are terrible.
That's what he's telling you.
Prior to the 1963 season, Willie would ink what was at the time the largest contract in Major League Baseball, again, at $105,000 a season, which would equal a little more over $1 million today. There's still chump change for today. The way baseball worked back then was very different than today, with most of the players holding winter jobs during the off-season to make ends meet, but Willie could now live a life of luxury. He would hit his 400th career home run this season on August 27th, becoming the 10th player at the time to reach 400. Unfortunately, it seems the Say Hey Kid was beginning to slow down, only stealing 8 bags that year, but he did have 38 homers and a .317 average. If you remember the movie Major League 2 when Willie Mays Hayes wants to become a power hitter, yeah, there's a lot of similarity there, because that's what he was trying to do. The Giants would finish third in the division with an 88-74 record. As a slap in the Giants' face, the division rival Dodgers won the series that year.
It's amazing that just Giants and Dodgers.
Yeah, one team's now dog shit and one team's superhuman.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the 1964 season, the owner named Willie Mays captain of the Giants, making him the first African American captain in history, again, at the time. The new accolade didn't propel Mays the way it probably should have, ending the season with a record under 300 for the first time since 1956. It was still .296, but, get your shit together. He still managed to lead the NL in home runs with 47. The Giants would finish 4th in the division, but only 3 games behind the leading Cardinals, who went on to beat the, you guessed it, Yankees.
Terrible team.
God awful.
Franchise is just a disaster.
At the start of the '65 season, Mays sustained a torn shoulder in a game against the Braves, but refused to tell anyone because, again, racism, and he didn't want opposing players trying to run on him when he made a play in center field. So he was hiding that he couldn't throw to keep people from not running. In August of the same year, Willie would help break up a 14-minute on-field brawl where he would get into it with fellow fielder Sweet Lou Johnson. I love that baseball players used to have names like that, by the way.
Yeah, it reminds me of Sourhead McGee.
Was that a baseball player that I don't know?
No, just an made up. Sweet and
Oh,
sour.
okay. Both either would be believable if we're being honest.
Sourhead McGee.
Yeah.
After Mays tackled him to stop him from attacking an umpire, Johnson kicked Willie in the head, nearly knocking him unconscious. After his bell was rung, Mays went on to hit the game-running home run, driving in 3 runs. He didn't complete the game and left after the homer because he was still dizzy from getting his bell rung by Sweet Lou.
That's how you show someone out.
Yeah, kick me in the head. Here's a game winner. Mays would once again win NL Player of the Month for August of 1965, but unfortunately this would be the last time Willie would see such an accolade. During that month alone, he was hitting .371, had 17 homers and 29 RBIs in a month. The following month, Willie would notch his 500th home run, becoming only the 5th player again at the time to ever reach the milestone. He would finish the season once again winning the NL MVP award, 11 years since his first in 54. It was also the 12th year in a row he ended with over 100 runs. I'm beginning to see why, he was so great.
I'm starting to see it too. I think it's those 29 RBIs. That's really, in a month, that's what sets them apart.
Oh, dude's a run machine.
Yeah, it's not the home runs, it's the RBIs.
And he was just a beast in center, which is always a help.
Well, some people want to be like Brian Reynolds.
Not Aaron Judge, that's for sure. He played right today.
Yeah, Brian doesn't even play that much center anymore.
To begin the 1966 season, Willie tied the record for most home runs by a player at 5'11", matching Mel Ott. As we're all used to seeing, especially if you're an Aaron Judge fan, Mays went into a slump following the feat, but he did eventually beat the record on May 4th. Although he beat the record this year, it was kind of an underwhelming year, at least in Willie Mays standards. His final line was an average of .288, 103 RBIs, and for the first time in 13 years, just barely under 100 runs scored at 99. Despite a more down year, he still finished third in the NL MVP voting. And I'm only going to throw this in here to make Kodak happy. The 1966 NL MVP award went to Roberto Clemente of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now that's a fucking winning franchise right there. Not these fucking bottom trash conference teams like the Yankees or anything like that. Fucking Pittsburgh Pirates. We use LSD and hit no hitter games. All right, perfect games.
And a lot of cocaine.
And for the Yankees, you can't even have facial hair. All right,
Yeah, I still don't know why they haven't changed that rule.
because they're playing bush league ball.
Not Bushy Face League ball. The Giants would ultimately finish second in the National League with a record of 93-68, losing by a game and a half to the rival Dodgers, who we can all probably be a little pissed off at.
Poverty franchise.
Fuck the Dodgers. Fuck Shohei Ohtani.
You're just mad because they're better than the Yankees.
Statistically, they're not.
Really? I thought like half the MLB is better than the Yankees.
No, they're fourth. Guardians, Orioles, Phillies, Yankees.
Son of a bitch.
I know baseball.
I watch sport.
At the beginning of the 67 season, it was clear that 36-year-old Willie's career was coming to an end. 36 in baseball is basically 60 in baseball years. He began the season hitting 13 home runs through the first 75 games, but began slumping badly. On June 7th, Willie would face another first when Gary Nolan struck him out 4 times in one game. It was clear that wasn't Willie's year, as he was hospitalized for 5 days in July for a high fever. He had said following the hospitalization that he never felt strong through the rest of the season. His numbers showed that and began to slip, hitting only .263, 128 actual hits, and only 22 home runs. He only accounted for 78 RBIs, which was the first time since '58 he had under 100 of those. The Giants ended up 10.5 games behind World Series champs, the St. Louis Cardinals, with a record of 91-71. Their pitcher, Mike McCormick, did win the Cy Young that year, though, but that's a different story for a different time.
I'm more surprised he didn't try to hide in the fact that he had a fever. He's hiding bone spurs and torn ACLs and whatnot. But fever, okay, time to go to the hospital.
I mean, it's hard to hide a fever.
Yeah, and it was like in the 104s, I think.
Well,
Your
come on.
body starts shutting down with a fever.
Yeah, well, come on. Your part of your body starts shutting down with torn muscles.
I mean, pain pills you can hide that.
I mean, this is a sick little morphine.
And here we see Willie Mays, and he passes out in center field.
Give him an ice bath; he'll be fine.
Cool him down. Mays proved himself to everyone in 1968, rowing back to build his average back to 289, 144 hits, but his home runs and RBIs were still down by his standards. He hit only 23 home runs and 79 RBIs. The Giants still managed to be halfway decent, earning a record of 88 and 74, which doesn't seem great, but is good enough for second place in the National League. Garbage division.
Poverty division.
The National League as a whole, yeah, you're right.
Most of it is a poverty conference.
This honestly wasn't a very notable year for Willie or the Giants. It's just kind of meh. At the beginning of the 69 nice season, the Giants found themselves under a new manager who quickly moved Willie up to the leadoff position, noting the declining home run numbers, but still wanting to use Willie for his speed. Obviously, this offended Willie, but all around was not his year when he suffered a knee injury following a collision with an opposing catcher, back when you could still full-on tackle him. Good old days.
Fucking love those games.
Even if he missed several games, on September 22nd, Willie hit his 600th career home run. While this was a great accomplishment, the Giants would land another not-so-great record that is still in place today. They managed to hit into the most double plays ever. Still. The Giants would end up second in the newly crowned National League West following the creation of the divisions that we're all so very used to. Yeah, now the NL West is a garbage division.
Poverty division.
Prior to the start of the 1970 season, Sporting News named Willie Mays Player of the Decade in January. The following July, Willie would garner his 3,000th hit, although he told reporters he wasn't worried about it because he just wanted to help his pitcher, Gaylord Perry.
Eh.
I did leave his name in there because it makes me giggle.
Perry. It's a platypus.
Nailed it. Realizing that he was beginning to lose his step, Mays scheduled his days off to avoid strikeout pitchers. It probably helped him in the long run, as his batting average bumped up again to 291, 28 homers, and 83 RBIs. He also scored 94 runs by himself, still under the expectations of, his usual 100 plus. The Giants were also beginning to feel the years catching up to Willie, as they ended up third in the NL West, going 86 and 76. Believe it or not, the NL championship went to the Reds that year in 1970. Another garbage franchise.
Poverty franchise. Terrible. Red Sox. Who names their team after a color? Like, come on.
Who names their team after a sock color?
Honestly.
I mean, the White Sox are barely a team.
Yeah, and they're in Boston. You think it would have been the Green Sox?
White Sox, not the Red Sox, but also
Okay.
another poverty franchise.
I thought you said Boston.
No, but fuck them too. While
Poverty
Willie's
City.
stats, while Willie's stats were dipping, the Say Hey Kid was dipping back into marriage. Willie tied the knot with Mae Louise Allen. As the story goes, the two met 10 years prior in a nightclub in Harlem that was actually owned by Wilt Chamberlain, not to drop names. Willie, in a sort of love-at-first-sight way, was head over heels for Mae. His first words were, "You don't know me, but I'm Willie Mays." Mae just scoffed and replied, "Yeah, and I'm Martha Washington," not believing it was actually him. You know it's love when the first interaction is sarcasm. Not much is really known about Mae in her younger days, but she had her master's in social work and works in child welfare. She was a lot more down to earth than Marguerite. She shied away from the limelight, focusing on actual issues of the world, and is now described as being the pioneer of single adoption in San Francisco, though she did something right. I'll get more on her later.
I can't tell if more on her later is going to be good or bad, because I know how these episodes go.
Well, the more on her later is in like the 2010, so not great.
Oh, she's going to be deceased.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Actually, it begins in 97, if I want to be a dick about it. The 1971 season began with occasional fielding moves for Willie. While he would remain mostly in center, he would start at first base for 48 games this year. The move seemed to have paid off for Willie and the Giants as they won the NL West title and the first playoff appearance by the team since 1962. They would go on to play the coked-out Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series, but lost 3 games to 1.
Let's fucking go. That's my team right there. Cocaine and titles. Let's do it.
Mays Mays's home run numbers were pretty consistent with the last few years. However, he did lead the league in OBP due to pitchers basically being careful pitching to him so they could get to the lower tier batters behind him. This is also some of the reason for his lower home run numbers, as he only hit 18 throughout the regular season. He would win the very first Roberto Clemente Award, which was then known as the Commissioner's Trophy until that year. That still kind of had to chap his ass because it was,
Pirate.
Roberto Clemente.
Yeah, but everyone loved Roberto Clemente. I mean, how are you going to be mad for winning an award that's named after someone who died trying to bring relief to our earthquake place? I mean, it's kind of hard to hate on.
I'd still be a little mad.
Well, maybe he should have went to Guatemala instead of Clemente.
That asshole beat me in a World Series.
Well, become a pirate. Doesn't happen then.
As the division champs, San Francisco was practically floundering, and on May 11th, Willie Mays was traded to the Mets for pitcher Charlie Williams. His contract was said to be upwards of $165,000 and a promise to pay Mays $50K for the next 10 years after he retired. It's like Bobby Bonilla all over again. The Mets continue to do this shit. Mays would only play 88 games for the Mets, but his numbers were still pretty decent given the numbers. He finished with a .250 average and 8 home runs. The Mets would finish third in the NL East with an 83-73 record. Fuck the Mets, but we all know who the real kings of New York are.
The Brooklyn Dodgers.
Fuck them, they're in LA by now.
Wait, fuck them? I guess that's Jackie Robinson right there. Are you saying you're against Jackie Robinson?
Wow.
Jesus.
I'm a Willie Mays guy. What do you want?
He was also started out in New York.
Fuck the
Wow.
Mets though.
But you're for Willie Mays, and he's part of Mets lore. Oh yeah.
Gonna go forward there, Billy.
Stop trapping me here. Mays was still a busy man away from baseball. Sometime in 1972, I couldn't find the actual date of it, he began the Say Hey Foundation in an effort to help underprivileged children with an emphasis on education and an actual community around them. It also included youth baseball programs, and we all know how I feel about those.
You do like your youths.
So the New York Mets are a poverty franchise, and they give back for poverty. At the start of the preseason in '73, Mays wasn't present the first day of spring training. He would show up the following day, but would leave midway through practice just because he wanted to. This prompted then Mets manager / Yankees legend Yogi Berra to fine him a grand. At the start of the season, the two were still butting heads, where Willie would actually leave a game after finding out he wasn't in the lineup. I mean, the dude is 42. Of course he's going to be benched more than he used to be. Mays would hit his final home run this year on August 17th, his 660th. After debating it all season, Willie told the team on September 9th that he would be retiring, making the announcement on September 20th. Staying with the team in a limited role, the Mets would go on to win the NL East pennant. So maybe he was the problem.
Detriment.
While they played the NLCS against the Cincinnati Reds, Mays would only play one game, Game 5 of the series. However, his major involvement in the series didn't have anything to do with his playing time. Following an on-field brawl between Pete Rose and Bud Harrelson, fans would begin throwing trash and whatever else they could find at Rose. Willie managed to go out and calm the crowd down enough so they could actually finish the game.
Sorry people threw things at you.
They would eventually beat the Reds in 5 games, but follow the Oakland A's in 7 games in the World Series, if anyone can remember when they were an actual competitive team.
Apparently back in this year, 1973. Actually, you know what? Moneyball. That's when they were competitive.
Although Willie's playing career was over, he stayed employed with the Mets as a hitting instructor for the new kids. If you're gonna do it right. Be trained by Willie Mays. He enjoyed the position and stayed on with the Mets until 1979. Willie had to leave all baseball-related activities when he became an ambassador for Bally's Atlantic City Casino, because I guess money talks and you were the highest paid man a few times over the past few years. The suspension would be revoked in 1985 by then Commissioner Peter Uberoff. Willie would quickly find a position in the Giants front office, where he was named a special assistant to the team for the following year. The Giants made the position a permanent appointment for Mays in 1993, so technically Willie's ghost might still be roaming around Oracle Park doing all sorts of business shit.
He's the one that got Barry Bonds traded from the Pirates to the Giants. I know it.
It was Willie. Oh, May's back. In 1997, Willie and May received heartbreaking news for the couple. May was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Willie would care for her for the next 16 years through her battle with Alzheimer's, and when she passed away peacefully in her sleep of April of 2013. Mays would still make the occasional appearances, mostly for charity work following her passing, but he was also getting up there in age and kind of stayed away from, the limelight, as he did. Willie Howard Mays passed away on June 18th, 2024, which is also around the time I started writing this. In a statement made by Willie the day before his passing, he told the public that could not attend the scheduled game at historic Rickwood Field where the Black Barons played, celebrating the Negro Leagues and a field he ruled at the time. The game would now pay tribute to not only the Negro Leagues but also one of the best players of all time, the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. Many MLB teams would also pay tribute to the legend throughout the country, with several athletes paying their respects online. The Say Hey Foundation is still active and still providing help for underprivileged youths, and Mays also brought in thousands for Alzheimer's Foundation and research following Mays' diagnosis. During his prime, Willie was no doubt one of the best of all time. Though I doubt he'd be able to hang with some of the behemoths we have today, he does still inspire greatness throughout the league, the likes of Aaron Judge and Mike Trout, and probably Brian Reynolds.
And McCutcheon.
Yeah, definitely McCutcheon. I left him out. The Full Send Rejects salute you, Willie, an absolute fucking legend.
I'll drink to Willie.
Attaboy.
Thank you. I pay my respects the proper way. With a drink, that's the way to do it.
With a drink.
It's the way Willie would want it. WWW, what would Willie do?
What would Willie do?
I like that better, actually.
What would Willie do? Well, Willie would definitely appreciate this episode and share it wherever he can.
Oh.
Yeah, see what I did there? Yeah, on the fly.
Put that on your conscience.
But thank you for everyone to listen to this week's episode on the late great Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. We appreciate your support, and Willie Mays would support you, rating us or sharing this something. But in seriousness, thank you for continuing to help us grow and find our place on the diamond known as podcasting. We hope to see you next week. And as always, full fucking send it.
Full send it.
Send it.